Hello, welcome back to Idea Steffany with the David Dictionary. My co-host is Seminary. Today, the guest is Tracy. Reveal yourself. Steffany is a good friend of mine. She is the best with the youth and with the coffee making. Thank you for being on the show.
Hey, David.
Hello. Now, before we get started, do you want like the questions that might get us canceled or just the regular questions?
Do you mean like you'll ask the questions and like you're asking the questions anyway?
I'm asking questions regardless, but you want this one, like the bad ones, or like the regular ones?
Let's do regular ones.
Okay. All right. Today we'll start off with a game called Would You Rather.
Oh, gosh.
Would you rather spend 40 days without food or 40 years without your phone?
I would rather spend 40 years without my phone.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's respectable.
Thank you.
Would you rather be a free Jew or a Christian in prison?
I would rather be a Christian in prison.
That rhymes kind of.
I know, kind of bars.
Prison? That's like a album.
Christian in prison.
Could be like a song.
Christians in, yeah, make that.
Yeah.
Next,
okay.
David.
Would
track.
you rather blow bubbles or blow up a creeper?
Blow bubbles or blow up a creeper?
Hmm.
Is this a Minecraft thing?
It's like a real life thing.
I'd rather blow bubbles.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think I keep asking. Oh my jeez. Okay, you gotta bleep that.
I'm actually doing. I'm gonna cry.
It's okay.
Okay, go ahead, Tracy.
Okay, so I mean, I ask like normal questions. That's
Okay, thank you.
So where are you from?
I'm from Orange County, born and raised, SoCal girl. We're in Buena Park right now, so I'm 20 minutes west.
Yeah. Do you want to say that? You can say city.
Westminster. I'm from Westminster, California.
Guys, we love Westminster because all the people are there.
714, baby.
Yeah.
Aroma.
Aroma. Okay, so good. Like the best food definitely is in Westminster Garden Club.
I get the question now.
Sorry.
No, I mean David.
Oh. Okay. So what college did you go to?
So I'm currently finishing my undergrad at Cal State Long Beach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm doing education.
Okay.
So catch me in your local classroom.
So
Local
you're like
Catholic classroom.
fourth year.
Yeah, I'm my fourth year. I'll be graduated in December, so I'm almost done.
Wow, are you gonna invite us to your graduation? Just kidding.
You can come. Tickets are expensive, and you get 4 per grad. So.
Yeah, because I mean, I heard some people were like selling it at my graduation. I didn't sell mine. Okay, it's okay.
Do we continue with David blowing in my hair?
Just ignore me. Just
Yeah.
have a normal
That's
conversation.
okay. So
Okay,
like
okay.
currently, what do you do? Like I know you're a student, but like, do you work?
Yeah, so I work at a school in Tustin. I'm a substitute teacher, and I'm only so school just calls me whenever they need somebody. I have my I have my set schedule. Well, not a set schedule, but like set availability, so they know when to call me and when not to call me, and it's good. It's a good college. It's a good college job. Yeah, I like it.
So like when you're at the Catholic school, like what do you usually like teach? Because I know like I think there's like the regular curriculum.
Yeah.
Like history, like social science, language arts, math. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I know they also do have. I think some of them do like daily mass. or
Yeah,
some
they
of them-
do. Well,
No, they do?
not daily mass, but they do have a weekly school mass that they go to. But yeah, I mean, I teach sometimes. It's really nice. I'll just go in at 7:45. The teacher has his or her lesson plan out for me, ready to go, and I'll look it over. And usually, like, especially at private schools, they have like special classes, so like music, art, stuff like that. So during those periods, they have special teachers. So then I can just stay back in the classroom and do my homework, and it's kind of lit. Yeah,
Wait, that sounds really nice.
it is really nice.
I do have a friend who wanted to be a Catholic teacher. I guess like, do you have to compete with like people who like are not like in the faith or something? Or is that maybe that sounds bad?
No, it's a really interesting thing that I've noticed. This is my second Catholic school that I'm working at. And I've noticed like different Catholic schools have different cultures.
Yeah.
So in this one in particular, they're really good about like most of the teachers, I think all of the teachers from what I know are practicing Catholics. And so they raise their students like, and they're teaching, they're the primary teachers of the religion for their students. And so their students are all very well knowledgeable about their faith, about how to defend it at their developmental stage. But I've encountered other Catholic schools where they're more focused on like the academics, so like having a rigorous curriculum.
Not side eye. It's like a creeper.
Oh, I don't have to pop it, do I?
That's okay.
Okay, good.
You would rather blow bubbles.
I would rather blow bubbles, yes. But yeah, so I've noticed other Catholic schools have like a less orientation towards like their faith, which kind of sucks. Yeah. But that's why you study before you put your kid in school, guys. Yeah.
No, exactly. Because like I know like there's actually one school off the top of my head. I don't think they're very like, I thought they were very rigorous for like their teaching and stuff or curriculum. But I think I've seen a lot of people fall away from their faith. But also in my own church too, I don't think there's really a big focus on like learning the catechism. Instead, it's like very much like I think watered down, like kind of cultural Catholicism, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And so I think it kind of leads to like this like crisis in being catechized. I mean, I know there's some like, I think Catholic creators out there like Uncatechized Catholic. Yeah. She does a really good job explaining the faith. I think Voice of Reason too, Trent Horn. I think those are like creators who like really bring back people to the faith. Honestly, I don't know about me. They weren't there, girl. You know what I mean? Or how do you feel about it? Like, I think the crisis in like Catholic education right now.
Yeah, I think that I think it's like a cultural thing, and not necessarily in like ethnic cultures, but I think it's a like an era thing. I guess to like spread it out more wide, where people and honestly, I think it's a not normal, but it's a common thing over the centuries of just people not wanting to. Being truly Christian is really uncomfortable. So people will do what they can to be comfortable within the Christian identity. But yeah, I totally agree with you. There's a lot of like online influencers and personalities who help to bring people back into not just communion with the church, because that has such a subjective definition today, but like true relationship with the Father, you know what I mean? So yeah, they do a really good job, but I think that it's up to us as people who listen to podcasts to like take what we receive and then use it, you know, for example, myself in the classrooms that I'm going to teach in the future, or you guys, you know, with your friend groups, or you on your podcast. Like it becomes like, you know, I think of St. Therese and her little way of evangelization. Like, you know, all of us have the opportunity to spread out to like generations just with our influence.
Absolutely agree. Literally. Yeah, because I also used to think like, to evangelize, I thought, I would just focus on, is this logical, or is it true? And I think it works for some people. I think there's something called transcendentals. I think they're called, I don't know if you know it.
Kind of.
I think it was like truth, beauty, and goodness, but these are the things that pull you towards God, right? Right. And so like for some people, if what works is like truth, it'll work for them. But for other people, like the way to evangelize them is like not like just being big brain, you know what I mean? Like it's exactly how the way you act, how you hold yourself, like maybe not how you hold yourself explicitly, but like being a good witness for the faith. Literally. I think that took me like literally all of college to like understand. For me, I think I was a little like tunnel-headed, brain, a little bit. Yeah. Sorry, Adam. No. But yeah, do you like consider yourself like devout, or like when did you first start getting into your faith?
That's a good question. Yeah, I think I really rest in that, what you were just saying about like, I mean, you said that it took you all of college, and I think that I'm just now breaking that kind of barrier of having relationship with the Father like solely founded on truth, and now it's like transcending into relationship and beauty and goodness. I think for me, my breaking point was probably like COVID time, just because that was when I was most like I was just most confined in my house and my family, and my dad is super like well catechized, and he's really very much a man with faith but founded on truth, and sometimes the truth for some people, and I think you're kind of touching on this, sometimes the truth is just like, that's the truth and you just have to take it, and that's the spoon you're given, eat it. But people don't realize, well, you can also fall in love with the Father and be in relationship with him through beauty and through goodness. And so I would say like I became super devout during COVID, because that's when I kind of was really catechized. And that's when I like to say that I became like a stalker of Christ. So there was no real relationship there. It was just me knowing everything there was to know about him. But
stalker. Yeah,
just really stalker vibes. But seriously, now, and especially during this Lent, is when I'm like starting to scratch the surface of like, there is more than just being his like stalker. You can be his friend too, and he wants you to be his friend. So I think just now I'm starting to break that. But yeah.
How did you start breaking that? Like, what did you do?
Yeah, I think over like a bunch of trial and error, realizing, I think the first time I realized that I was like a stalker was 2022. I went to there was
It's so funny.
No, I mean it's real. It's real. It's so real, bro. No, but I went to there was a young adult I Thirst camp out at Santiago Retreat Center, and I had planned to go with my friends, and we were camping outside, and it was like really fun. It was rainy, and it was one of the coolest experiences that I've ever had in my life. And I remember at that weekend I was in the tent with my girlfriends, who all were like, I remember like in my sin, like, Father forgive me, but I remember like when I would talk to them or discuss things with them, they would all just kind of like listen to me and be like, wow, Steffany, you're so smart. And I'm like, it's basic information, like, you don't know that. It's just a hardened heart. But then also I would see them in adoration or see them in like mass, and I'm like, what the frick? Like, why don't I look like that? Like, why don't I feel like I'm on the verge of tears? Like, well, I don't know, not letting them ever know of my vulnerability, but always like feeding off of the pride of like, oh yeah, well, I'm teaching them. But I remember living with them that weekend, and all of it was just me being jealous that they had such firm romantic relationships with the Father. And I remember that Saturday, Bishop Tim was celebrating Mass for us, and the homily that Saturday was the parable of the prodigal son.
Oh, yeah.
And so he starts, and the rest of his homily actually has nothing to do with what my own personal revelation was, but I remember he starts his homily with, a lot of times when we hear the parable of the prodigal son, we kind of shut off our ears because we think that we know everything there is to know about it, when in reality, the Holy Spirit is inviting us to receive something we've never encountered before. And I remember in that like specific moment, just that entire year, I think, was me feeling like I wasn't enough to have a relationship with the Father. But I remember just hearing that one sentence, like my whole heart just like was like completely consumed in this like love and weird feeling. And I remember like, I'm not like, I don't get to be the prodigal son. Like, I don't get to be the son who runs away from the Father and has this dramatic return home. I'm the prodigal son's brother, this person who was living with the Father the entire time. And the Father's like, everything I have is yours. Like, you belong to me and I belong to you. And you are consumed in my love. You just don't know it, and finally hearing the words of like, but my son, everything I had is yours, And I think just like those words that the bishop said were just like enough for my heart to be opened to realize like, okay, like actually I do belong to the Father, and I belong to him this entire time. And I think after that was the beginning of just my journey of figuring out how to love the Father and be loved by the Father. And over that time, that's been 3 years now, I've had a lot of moments where I return back to that, Egypt mindset where I'm worshiping knowledge, not the Father. But just recently, and especially this Lent, I've been very focused on like, okay, truly abandonment of self and like true poverty of spirit, where like I gave up social media. And so there's days when I'm like, somebody texted me and they told me they texted me and I should open the text. I'm going to go, and I'm like logging on, and I just feel this conviction of like, don't go on. I'm like, okay, fine, I won't go on. It's fine. They can wait 2 weeks, or daily mass. I have my group of daily mass goers. Shout out to the daily mass gang. And there's a girl who I pick up every morning. And there are days when I wake up at 6, and I live 2 minutes away from the parish, but going to pick her up makes it a little bit longer. Yeah. And there are mornings when I wake up and I'm like, I have to get ready now if I want to go pick her up. And I'm like on the verge of like, I don't want to go. I could just tell them that I'm not going to make it. I can just sleep for 10 more minutes and then tell them I'm late. But then like I feel this conviction of like, really? You can't even give me an extra 10 minutes to come and make it to mass? So like just like small things like that where the Father is encouraging me to abandon myself are moments where I'm really feeling like, okay, this is the Father's true desire to be united with me. How am I going to say no to that? You know? And so this particular Lent, it's like, it's feeling very Lenty, but it's also feeling very like, this is, I listened to another podcast, the Poco Poco podcast. I'm like yapping, sorry guys, but.
No, that's the point of this podcast. Girl, don't say sorry.
Sorry, thank you. I mean,
yap all you want.
Thank you.
And keep yapping.
There's a podcast that I listened to, and the priests were giving this reflection of like being in the agony in the garden, and like a lot of people will hear that mystery and think like, yeah, because being isolated in a garden sucks. But the fathers were saying, well, why don't we break this up into two different experiences where Jesus is in the garden, but also he's in agony. And those are two separate experiences. Where in the garden, being isolated and just receiving the Father's graces, like that's a gift. But in agony is something completely separate from being in the garden. And so this particular Lent, I've been like kind of entered into that mindset of I can be in the desert, and in the desert, like, you know, abandonment of self and giving up Instagram and going to daily mass at 6 a.m. Like these are things that suck. But at the same time, I can simultaneously experience the Father's love through it. And so being in the desert doesn't suck so bad. You know, like it sucks, but it doesn't suck so bad because at the same time, I'm receiving the Father. You know what I mean? So this Lent in particular has like been really fruitful for me. But yeah.
I think literally everything you said, I was like, girl, she's describing what I've thought too. Bro, prodigal son. Because I remember that gospel reading, and I also thought, like, I had this realization too.
It was recent, yeah.
It was in the Spanish Mass. Bro! Oh my gosh. Dude, I was like, okay, I'm not just the prodigal son, but, like, also his brother too. And in some ways, I feel like okay, wait, pause. I don't have kids, but sometimes when you deal with someone difficult, and you want them to come back to the faith, but you're trying to get them, sometimes feels like you're the father too. Yeah. So I feel like there's so many angles to that story. And absolutely, like, you go back, you learn something new every time.
Yeah.
You could even put yourself in the place of like the servant who's about to butcher like the fattened calf.
You can even put yourself in the calf. In the feet of the calf, bro.
We joke about how my boyfriend's dog, we were roasting his dog. Sorry. Oh, okay. No, because he looks like, oh shoot, like he looks.
Is it giving calf?
He's giving
it's giving moo.
It's actually giving baby lamb.
Baby lamb. Also, he's a good boy.
No.
Oh.
No, he's is it in the Bible? Isn't there like a difference between the ram and the lamb? Is there? Because I think that the ram is used in sacrifice in the Old Testament. I think, not the lamb though, because the lamb is innocent and the ram is not. So signifying like impure sacrifice. I think
it's like different. There's like different sacrifices.
Yeah, but
they sacrifice oxes. It's all different, and they even sacrifice like wheat. They call it cereal offerings.
Bruh.
I thought it was like cereal. Like
are you
they
kidding?
had cereal back then.
Was that like a joke or is that cereal?
No, it's real. It's cereal.
Is that? I didn't mean to make that joke. I mean, well,
it
that was
just
good.
comes, yeah.
No, but like I have this. I heard something about how like I think Father Chad Rippinger. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah,
he did say something about how like you should pray at least 50 minutes every day, and like I think that's why the Blessed Virgin said that's why you should pray the Rosary. But I forgot the rest of it, guys. As a fallible human.
It's okay. We forgive you.
It's very good for you to pray at least 15 minutes every day. But I forgot, I think something like spiritual attack, something like that.
Yeah.
Etiquette.
That would make sense because he's an exorcist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Heike. Sorry, I'm having a brain fart. I was gonna ask or say something. But you know how like sometimes you feel discomfort? Like you talked about like, going to mass and like something, like you don't want to, you just want that extra 10 minutes of sleep, right? But it's an opportunity to say yes to God. And I was like kind of realizing it earlier because I was like, I have all this stuff, bro, I can't work. Like I'm studying for the MCAT. I hate it here, guys. But then I realized it like these are all like things like opportunities to love God. And like I kind of realized like suffering looks horrible from I think a human perspective. But I think from God's perspective, it's like he could bring something good out of it. And I kind of realized, like, I think these things, like, do have purpose in our lives, even though they high-key suck. I mean, yeah, I've thought about the same thing too, where, like, when your parents, I feel like I'm being interviewed.
No,
but I'll finish this up.
No, go ahead.
But, like, when my parents ask me to do the dishes, and I don't want to do the dishes, but then I'm like, it's an opportunity, love. I still don't want to do it, but I still do it.
Yeah. Doesn't Mother Teresa have, like, don't do the dishes because you have to do the dishes. Do the dishes because you love the person who's going to use them next.
Yeah. I was like, I love my parents. Okay, I got to do it. And then I had to, like, make myself do it fast, because if I give myself enough time, I'm going to change my mind.
Same. Retweet.
So I also wanted to ask, I think it was COVID, right? So what age were you when you started to get into the faith?
COVID was 2020, so I was 17. I was 18, turning 19 that year.
Were you, like, devout, like, before-ish, or how would you explain your faith? Like, maybe revert, or kind of, like, chill about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was raised cradle Catholic. My parents are both really culturally Catholic. Mexican Catholicism, gang, love that. And they were much more different.
The big three were the big three.
Oh, true.
Mexican, Vietnamese, Filipino.
True. Yeah, so I was raised super Mexican Catholic, but a little bit different than Mexican Catholic, because a lot of that is, like, unfortunately, the culture is very, for lack of a better way to say it, forgive me, Lord, but, like, it's a little bit shallow, where a lot of, like, the Hispanics, especially in California, kind of go because they were raised to go, but there's no real relationship there. We have a lot of Easter, Christmas, Catholics. But my dad was super, 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 like, well catechized.
That's good.
So it was really good. And if he's watching this, I love you, Dad.
Plug his podcast.
Oh, yeah. Go listen to Fatherly Advice by Adrian Resendez.
Is that your dad?
Yeah.
What?
He has his own podcast.
Wait.
Yeah.
Pull up.
Yeah. Yeah. But he raised us to be really well catechized. But I think because of who I am, I received a lot of that kind of pridefully. And for a lot of my life, especially in high school, I was really like resentful to my faith, because I wasn't, the overprotective strict dad is like this most stereotypical. I wasn't allowed to have boyfriends. I wasn't allowed to go out after 5. I wasn't allowed to do things after school and after soccer. Grades had to be a certain way. I had to be participant to a certain extent at church. And all of this was for good reason. But I think because of who I was, I received it a lot of it resentfully. So I grew up kind of resentful to the church. But also I grew up as, like, this golden child. And I thrived off of academic validation. So doing all of that and making my parents proud was, like, the primary fuel to all of my endeavors. But it got to a point in COVID when I was, like, essentially, that was kind of my reversion, I guess, where I was just confined into a house with my siblings and my parents. So now I wasn't allowed, like, my dad would, like, lecture us, and I wasn't allowed to, like, go out and, like, oh, yeah, my dad sucks. Yeah, my dad sucks too. Like, I wasn't allowed to, like, I didn't have that with my friends at school or through soccer. And so I was just stuck in the house to either receive what he had and let it go in one ear and out the other, or, because of who I am, to fight him back. And so I would spend a lot of time, like, researching what he was saying and trying to, like, argue with him. And it ended in a lot of lectures and a lot of arguing and a lot of yelling. We're a very, like, big debating family. And a lot of the arguments would end in, like, oh, dang it, I didn't see that one coming. Or, like, even, like, before I would get to the dinner table, it would be like the Google search was like, dang it, like, I was wrong, so I couldn't even take that. And that was kind of what started me to be the stalker, of Christ, where I was like, okay, this is all true, and now I can't ignore it. So now, like, I'm an idiot if I ignore what is truth. So I was like, okay, being an idiot's not a choice to me. So so it was like, so that was when I kind of entered into the faith. But I think when I turned 18 and after COVID, I was able to I started driving, I started making my own money. So I was able to go out and find different young adult groups to receive from. And the more I exposed myself, the more I realized that I was missing something. And again, with, even with the people I was surrounding myself with, even if I felt like I was smarter than them, I still knew but they have more than me and I don't know what that is, and then my retreat happened and everything. And so, yeah.
Do you remember any of the debate ideas you had with your dad?
Yeah. One of the popular ones was Indigenous Day versus Christopher Columbus Day. And so my dad was like, Christopher Columbus Day because that's when he found America. And I was like, okay, Dad, but the U.S. is right to turn into Indigenous Peoples Day because we should honor our Native American brothers and sisters. And to lay it all on the table, I still think that we should honor them. But I was very much like, yeah, Dad, don't you know the Catholic Church was super evil and super bad? And my dad's like, okay, you know what? Go away and study Bishop Bartholomew de las Casas' letters to the church. Yeah, and then come back and tell me. I'm like, okay, fine, I will. And if you guys don't know, Bishop Bartholomew de las Casas was a bishop who was sent on those boats. And he wrote a lot of letters to the church back in Spain saying, essentially things like, the workers that you've sent me with are completely uncontrollable. They're not listening to us and they're not listening to the priests. And they're just not being able, we can't contain them. And so this was really bad. And so he was being very clear and very specific and very detailed about the gory details. His letters are a lot of the reason why we know what Christians did to Native Americans. And so reading that stuff, I was like, dang it, I can't blame the church. It's just human sinfulness and human evilness, and things like that. And then he also gave me the perspective of bad things happen because of our separation from God, which is my introduction to being separated from the Father and original sin and our concupiscence. But he gave me the perspective of Christopher Columbus, even though maybe he wasn't the practicing Christian man, he could have been, Christ still used him. And Christopher actually means carrier of Christ. And so if it weren't for the coming of Christopher Columbus, the Christian faith would not have come and converted all of these Native Americans. And so it's in retrospect, bad things happen every single day, but Christ still is able to find places to work. And he did, that's why so many of us are so joyful. And that's why so many of us who don't know who Christ is are not joyful, And so things like that were I would fine, I will just go study his letters. And then I went and studied the letters and I was like, dang it. Yeah.
Dad
dang it.
Was right.
Dang it, Dad.
Have you ever been right?
Oh
shoot, no, she's buffering.
I'm sure I have. Just give me some time to think about it.
Bro, her dad's gonna watch this video and be like, yeah, I thought so.
I'm not gonna tell my dad I recorded this. No, I already told him I recorded it, but.
Hi, Stephanie's dad. Wait, so I don't know if this is I know Our Lady of Guadalupe is really big. Was that connected to the conversion of Native Americans? Or because I know Mexico's right here and then America is right on top. And
yeah.
I don't know about you, but I suck at geography.
No, so, you're good. Not that particular Spanish Conquisition. That Spanish Conquisition, if you remember from elementary school, we study a lot of the missions. And that mission lineage on California was the conversion of the Native Americans in what is now the United States. But Our Lady of Guadalupe, her appearance was gave fruit to the conversion of Aztec and Mayan tribes in Mexico. So completely separate geographic place, but it's still America technically. But yeah, it was, I think the number was over 9 billion conversions or something. 9 million?
9 million.
9 million maybe, yeah.
9 billion is the whole world.
Yeah, I said that
right now.
I said it right now and I was like, no, that's not right.
It could be 9 million. 9 billion.
It could be 9 billion. Have a lot of
Next
babies.
year.
Have a lot of babies.
2026.
Convert everybody.
Yar.
Yeah,
Starting with the youth.
Starting with the youth,
Yeah.
brother.
Hikey, I think the youth right now, it's looking not great, guys.
Actually, Some places is.
Hey, shout out
love it.
BSC, Blessed Sacrament Church in Westminster, California.
Oh, yeah. I think I've seen just like a lot of like, oh, wait, actually, I'm not even joking. I think my entire friend group in church, I don't think they're practicing anymore. Like, it's crazy. And I think I was with like, it was a friend group of 7 people. I think from my cohort that I grew up with, a lot of people are not practicing anymore. And I think there was like the statistic about how like 80% of Catholics lose their faith or leave in college. And I was like, that is hiking insane. On the bright side, I think there is a movement of like younger, more traditional Catholics coming. I think like church is growing smaller, but it's more pious. Sorry, something like that, IDK. But I think it has to do with like the education. So I was like, it's good you're going to education, girl. Yeah, and I think it has to do with like growing secular world where like everything's so convenient, where you can get comfort at any time. So why would you choose the harder path? You know what I mean? I think it really takes like COVID being pushed to like your limit to like actually seek God. I think that's where the relationship goes.
Yeah.
So anyways.
Thank you for sharing.
Not my tribute.
You're so good.
It's your debut.
It's your debut.
I was here last week.
Speaking of which, you're very involved with the youth ministry. Can you explain to the pedophiles what it's like to love minors without crossing the no-no boundary?
I can. This is actually, it sounds like a controversial question, but this actually should not be controversial at all. I don't want to step into like David demeanor, but if there are any gross people watching,
paraphilic disorder.
If there are any people who are watching, I remember, and this isn't like completely in the same line, but in terms of like romantic viewing people and how to not view them romantically, I remember I did a come and see with the Lovers of the Holy Cross one time, and we were having like girl talk on one of the nights, and we were allowed to ask the sisters anything. And so I asked one of the sisters, so sister, like, I mean, you're a nun, obviously, but like, do you ever see a man and find him like really attractive? Like, and you just like crush on him? And they were like, well, I mean, I'm not blind. Like, I know when a man is attractive, but because like I love the Lord and I belong to the Lord, it took me a long time to train myself to, when I see an attractive man, my first thought isn't, oh, I want to hold his hand, or, oh, he's really cute. My first thought is like, Lord, this is your son. How do I love this person for you? And then your mindset completely shifts into like service. And service doesn't have to look like bringing them food or anything, but it looks like, you know, how can I show you who you are, Lord, to this person? You know, and so working with teenagers, I remember, I mean, they've never been adults, and I can hardly call myself an adult, but I know what it feels like to be a teenager. So I look at them and I remember how broken that felt and how sad and separated from the Father that felt. And I think in my heart, like, Lord, how do you want me to love this person right now? Like, how can I make myself completely vulnerable and completely available so that this person can experience your fatherly and wonderful love? And that's like my mindset whenever I'm working with teenagers. So yeah, if you're having trouble, difficulty thinking that mindset, you should go to church. Go to church and come to YAM.
Don't give up. It's not over.
Don't give up. It's not over. The Lord loves you abundantly, and he wants you to know his love. So reject what the world tells you. Go to Christ. Run to God.
Amen.
Beautiful answer.
Thank you.
Do you think all young adults have a duty to help the youth grow in the faith? And what do you think that looks like?
Do I think all young adults have a duty to what?
To help the youth grow in the faith?
Yeah. I think in retrospect, yes. I don't think everybody is made to stand in front of a crowd of 100 students. I don't think everybody is made to stand in a crowd and, you know, talk. And I also don't think everybody is made to, you know, maybe be a one-on-one with students and be vulnerable and particularly available. But I think everybody who is baptized becomes a church. So there's that, like, a lot of older people will look at young teenagers and be like, you're the next generation of Catholic people. Like, no, they are Catholic people. Like, they are the church, you know? And so we have a duty, all of us, to be united and to serve one another where we need to serve them. And so even though you and I are the same age, or you and I are the same age, I'm still called to serve you guys, and you guys are still called to serve me. And in the same way, I'm still called to serve the 15-year-old angsty teenagers at St. Pius. In the same way, I'm still called to serve the 5-year-old Catholic. I'm still called to serve the 2-year-old or the 6-month-old who is just baptized. And so all of us are called to serve all the time using our different gifts because the Father has bestowed them on us. So yeah, I think it is everybody's duty to serve the youth. Again, maybe not as a youth minister, because that takes some gifts and certain, personality traits. But, for example, one-on-one friendships, that are parent approved and supervised. But walking with a student as an older brother, as an older sister, or maybe teaching, being a youth minister for fun stuff, but then also being a catechist on another hand, where you're strictly the person teaching them, there's a variety of different ways you can serve teenagers, but yeah, I think it's everybody's duty to serve them.
I'm gonna ask, but sorry, I was
her turn.
I had to make it in time.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was wondering, what do you think are the gifts that the Father bestowed on you, or what do you think right now, Heike?
I see it as a vice, to be honest. But my academic validation makes me really resilient and very go-getter mentality. And I think that that's a vice when it's directed towards worldly things, but it becomes a virtue when it's directed towards the Father.
So academic validation leads to, it's bad in a secular way, but it's good in a
when it's oriented towards the Father. Yeah. I think that's probably one of the gifts. But then also, because I was raised, I don't really know what it is, but I was simultaneously popular in grade school, but also at the same time bullied by the wrong people. And truthfully bullied by people I would call friends, because I was raised with different values and I was allowed different things. I was looked down on. And so I know what it feels like to be excluded. Again, that's if you had asked me 5 years ago, I would have been yeah, that sucks. But also now I know what it feels like to be excluded. So I know what it feels like to be included. So I make an effort to include people when I encounter them. Thanks. Yeah. So, and it just feel it's just better, when you're nice to people. So, yeah, I would say those are some of the things that I'm good at.
Yeah, because I noticed it too when you we first literally I met her 2 hours ago. Not even joking.
Yeah,
we're besties, guys.
We're besties. Yeah,
we prayed
we
twice.
We actually had our own podcast in the car right here.
Yeah. Not even joking.
Insane.
We were joking and we're oh, we already did the podcast because we talked a lot.
We talked a lot. Yeah.
Not even joking. Oh, I love your chicken.
Oh, thank you.
Show the camera the chicken.
Oh, here, camera.
Oh yeah, you can see the St. Teresa Lisieux.
Oh yeah, do you guys want a Hydroflask tour?
Hydroflask tour? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Hydroflask tour.
Hydroflask tour.
Is that from Sikh?
Yeah, I have some from Sikh. So.
You guys went to Sikh?
Yeah.
You took a flight?
Yeah.
You go too?
I went the 2 years before.
Yeah. So I went last year and then the year before.
I never went. You guys are so lucky.
Come Sikh 2026, Colorado.
Are we allowed to? Because I'm not in college anymore.
Oh yeah, anyone.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be in college then. I'm gonna go.
Wait till 27 though. 2027 is LA. I'm calling it right now.
I don't think so. No.
I thought you were being for real.
I think it's gonna be Texas.
They said the rumors.
So actually, fun fact, I was at Sikh this last year and I was walking through the booths and this one lady is yeah, honey, get all the books. And I'm like, yeah, maybe. I know she was selling books by Father Jacques Philippe. And so I was like, oh yeah, I could probably get some from home too. And she's like, yeah, don't worry. And next year we'll have the same booth, in Colorado, in Denver. Before she told me before the Sikh location was going to be announced. And so I was like, I didn't want to freak her out. So I was like, oh, okay, perfect. So I walked away and I told my friend, I'm like, it's going to be in Colorado next year. And then that night it was announced. And I'm like, one of the 3 locations is Colorado. But
3? It's more locations every year? Or
I know, yeah. So there's Colorado, there's Ohio, and...
Ohio, Stupidville.
I think Columbus, Ohio is where it is.
Would you rather have a priest father or a nun mother?
A priest father or a nun mother? Neither of those make sense. But actually, you know what? I had in high school, I had my AP art history teacher. She said, I don't even know if it was Catholic, but she said that when her dad died, her mom went and became a nun. And so she and her twin brother were raised in a convent. But that teacher was like 60 when she was teaching me. So I don't know if it's probably a long time ago. I also don't know if it was Catholic because she wasn't really Catholic. I mean, people fall away, so I don't know. But so I don't know. It's possible. I would rather have a mom and a dad who entered into the right vocation the first time.
Yeah, that was a horrible question. Who wrote that?
I didn't.
It was me. I'll take it.
Priest father though, if you want to go to confession, you can just go.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah, there's priest fathers out there.
Oh wait, high key.
Well, yeah, there are, but I would also rather my dad be in the right vocation. Yeah, I don't want my dad because I wouldn't want. Yeah, I won't get into it because I know that they do exist. So I don't want to get canceled.
Eastern Catholics.
Eastern Catholics and Russian Orthodox Catholics. I mean, they're not Catholic, I guess.
Voice of Reason is Eastern.
He's Byzantine, I think, right? Yeah, I think he's
Speaking of Byzantine and Voice of Reason, do you think Kevin will ever find love?
Who's Kevin?
I don't know. Just like Kevin who's watching this, he's like, man, I wish I could find
Wait, is Kevin a real person?
Yeah.
Kevin, I think you'll find love. Especially if you start with the Father. That's real love.
Do you have any advice for kids in high school who think they have depression?
I think if you think that you have depression, I think that it's real. And I think that the Catholic Church, or at least the people of the Catholic Church, don't affirm it enough. And I think that you also can find true love and truthfulness in the Father, even if the weight of depression and anxiety follows you. The Father there's nothing that the Father can't lift. So, yeah, that's my answer.
That's a good question. That's a good answer.
That's a good question.
No, it was all right.
It was a good
Can
question.
you explain in your own words why hurting innocent animals is bad?
Yeah. The Father in Genesis created everything and called it good. And so if we hurt animals, we take what the Father created and we say like, yeah, but it wasn't good enough, right? Or we find pleasure in hurting animals. It's like, okay, but it wasn't, and then furthermore, he gives man a job of taking care of the animals and everything he created, I don't remember what the exact verbiage was, but to take care of everything that the Lord created. Steward, yeah, giving us stewardship over the world. Thank you. Mm-hmm. And when we hurt them or when we hurt our planet, we are completely not doing what the Father asked us to do. So that's why hurting animals is bad.
Also, you get an animal? Guys, how could you? But
I mean, sometimes people have things inside that are just hurt and wounded. Remember that even if you were hurt, that doesn't give you the right to hurt somebody else. Yeah.
Also worry about the animals in the farms. So sad.
It's like abortion. Just because something bad happened to you doesn't mean you have to kill an innocent human
Exactly.
being.
Yeah.
Now, can you make up some words that don't exist and use them in your explanation for the latter question? It's like you're explaining it in your own words.
Of not hurting animals?
Yes.
And explaining it in my own words, I have to come up with words that don't exist?
Yes. Just like 2 or 3 sentences.
We should not hurt animals because of cash camps. I don't want to do this.
Okay. If it makes you uncomfortable, we could go to the next question.
Let's go to the next question.
Accidentally saying a slur. It's horrible.
I did?
No. I was like, what if you accidentally say
I was going to say, wait, run that back.
All right. How many chairs does a guy at church have to carry for a girl to be impressed?
4.
4?
Mm-hmm.
No chairs, pews. Pews.
No, chairs.
Well, they're like
chairs.
bolted to the ground.
No. We don't carry chairs. We just sit in pews, guys.
Oh, okay.
No, here, this is what he's talking about.
Like in like the youth group.
Yeah. A boy, he should carry at least 4 chairs. And this is factually evident.
Oh, I know what picture you're going to show me.
Hold on, I have to find it.
I'm like sniffing your camera, man.
No, you're good. Here.
What is happening?
This is David at our St. Pius V Confirmation 2 retreat. And so David was being really helpful and practicing how to riz up the ladies. Can I show the camera this?
Yes.
This is David carrying 4 chairs. And that's what it takes, gentlemen, to riz up the Catholic girls.
You want to open the window or you're okay?
I'm okay.
Okay.
Are you guys okay?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm fine.
I was just thinking about you guys.
Oh, thank you. I'm okay. Yeah.
So
But yeah.
4 is good.
4 is good. That's where it should start. If you can do more, that would really get her attention.
One time I carried 6.
Well, she has to see it first.
Okay.
Yeah. It can't just be hearsay.
All right. Why do you think people should be Catholic when it's easier to be? Why do you think people should choose to be Catholic when it's easier to get into heaven by Protestant rules?
I don't think that it's easier to get into heaven by Protestant rules. I think that it's harder. Not to cause controversy, but kind of to cause controversy. The Lord is very clear about how to get into heaven. Someone actually asked me this question. You were on the phone when they asked this question. They're like, so do you remember the...
Oh,
yeah. So these 3 ladies came and tried to evangelize me into the Church of God. And they were saying, one of the questions she asked, like, yeah, but you as a Catholic, how do you think that I get into heaven? And she was trying to corner me into saying like, oh, the sacraments, so that she could say like, okay, but those words don't exist in the Bible, because she's sola scriptura, apparently, barely. But she is like, if we can't give you a satisfied answer if you're looking in such a confined definition, and the Catholic Church helps to explain the fullness of God's relationship and the relationship he wants to have with us. And that can only happen through abandonment of ourself and our understanding of what, like, his words, and just docility and obedience to what he asks of us. And so the Protestant Church doesn't do that, does not allow them to be fully obedient and fully docile to the word of the Father. And so that's not to say that you can't get into heaven as a Protestant, but it's to say, like, when you are willingly ignorant to what the Father is saying, it becomes harder for him to bestow his mercy. But that doesn't mean that it's completely impossible to receive his mercy. You know what I mean? And so if the Catholic Church is giving you what you need, and not just to say that it's like a checkbook that you just do the acts and you get into heaven, but it's like, if it's giving you the foundations to have a true relationship with the Father, why wouldn't you do that? Like that. I mean, it's harder in this world, but in retrospect, it's easier. It's it's better to just be in love with the Father. I mean, we're all experiencing life. Life sucks, but like when you really enter into a fullness of a relationship with the Father, it's like, okay, the world, it still sucks. It's like what I said at the beginning, like a separation of being in agony in the garden and being in agony and being in the garden. Like, you can be in the garden and receive the Father's love while also being in agony. You know, the Father doesn't make it one event. Like, they can happen simultaneously, 2 separate events. You know what I mean? That's how I would answer that question.
So I'm hearing that the rules in the Catholic Church is there to make it easier to actually love God, huh?
Yeah, it's like stepping stones.
Yeah. Having the body of Christ, like, physically.
I know. Why would you?
I think, like, Jesus. I feel like if I were Protestant, or if I was raised Protestant, but like if I knew what the Catholic Church offered, I feel like you grow in your faith like exponentially, because I mean, there's a lot of times where like you think, I feel like, okay, if you guys are anything like me, like I think I wish I could be with God right now.
Same.
But like if you don't have the sacraments, like sacrament confession, like you do that like confession like mentally, well, you don't, it's just like you're kind of by yourself. But like we're not just like spiritual beings, we're like physical beings too. And so like just having the physical aspect, like being baptized with water, like having the Eucharist as like a physical, like, right? Yeah. I feel like, I mean, there's so much like the Catholic Church offers that God offers through the Catholic Church. Yeah. It's just like, it's not really like, I know we get to Protestant Catholic arguments. I know there's like, whoa guys, it's like a little bit hostile. I'm like, Christians beefing with Christians is crazy, just saying, right? But like, I think past it, if you really look at what is offered, I feel like, I don't know, why not, you know? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think there's this quote, and I don't remember who said
Venerable
it, but
Fulton Sheen.
Yeah, is it? Do you know what I'm gonna say? Yeah, I think it's uneducated Catholics become Protestant. It's not that quote. No. Someone says uneducated Catholics become Protestant, but educated Protestants become Catholic.
St. John Henry Newman. Is it?
I don't know.
He was Anglican, and then he became Catholic. It's okay. I think there's also another one, I think called God bounds the sacraments, but God is not bound by the sacraments, right? I think that's it for that question that you just asked.
For you, that you just asked.
That we forgot about already. Sorry, guys.
No.
It was like, why be Catholic and not Protestant?
Yeah, it kind of falls along with that, with what I was saying. But yeah.
I mean, if someone asks you like that scenario again, I mean,
Yeah.
Why is it that most people in RCIA/OCIA are Hispanic?
That's a really good question. I don't know.
Like, do you guys wait like after like a while to get baptized, or do you guys let's just have like a lot of conversion in the community?
I don't know. I mean, I am Mexican Catholic, so I feel like I should know this answer or this question, but I was raised as like not like a Mexican American Catholic, like a Mexican Catholic. So everyone in my family was, I actually didn't receive my sacrament of confirmation the conventional way. I received it, I guess, before a certain encyclical or something. There was a time when the Vatican said that the confirmation sacrament was meant to be administered with baptism. So I was baptized in 2001, and I received my sacrament of confirmation there. And so I have my godparents of baptism and confirmation from when I was a baby. So I'm that's the Catholic background I was born into, of like being super Catholic and super traditional and stuff. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's a Mexican American thing. I think that maybe if I had to give an answer, I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's just a misnomer. I think it's just there to distract us, It's just some people are looking at all the other traddy baddies, But where are you looking for the newly confirmed baddies?
Wait, what did you say? Wait, did I hear a slur? I'm not even joking. Wait, what?
Like
Cut
traddy
that.
baddies. I will not cut the truth.
Wait, can you spell that out? What did I just hear?
Like how you go to like Aroma and then you see like a baddie, you're like, oh, she's bad, But like traddy baddies.
Like with a D?
Traddy?
Yeah, like traditional baddies.
Like traditional baddies.
Oh, okay.
Like girls who veil.
Oh, I don't know what you heard.
That's okay.
Do you know what you heard? I don't know what
No.
you heard.
I will not say it because I
heard. I won't say it. I don't want to.
We're gonna move on to the next
move on to
question.
the next.
Spicy Jimenez 02 says David Seminary looks like he never stepped inside a gym his whole life. Do you agree with him? Yes or no?
No, I don't agree with him. Okay, David and I have like a very funny friendship. I know he stalks my Find My, and I don't stalk his Find My, but I have like Find My, and I just like, because I don't have social media right now, I'll just go like, oh, where are all my friends? So David's home address is labeled as gym, but if he's not home, he's actually at Choose. So I can testify that David is often at the gym.
Thank you, Steffany.
You're welcome. So
if
you're spicy, whatever, is that you?
No, he's not real. I made that up. I was just fishing for compliments, which
okay.
is...
it was like a half compliment.
Okay. I'm trying to transition here.
Sorry.
Is it okay to eat fish and expensive seafood, but not meat on Friday? Why is it okay to eat fish and expensive seafood, but not meat on Fridays during Lent?
You know what? I was just asking myself this question earlier this week because I just made dinner plans with a friend on Friday night, and we're both Catholic. And so I was like, okay, where can I suggest that we eat? It's Friday, so we can't eat meat. We can go get sushi. I'm like, wait, like the point of this is like abandonment of comfort. Why am I gonna like go satisfy myself with expensive sushi? And that's not the point. And I think that is a problem. I don't think that is okay. I think that the point of like Lent is putting yourself in the desert. But if I put myself in the desert and I'm like, yeah, but I'm also gonna bring the beach chair and the umbrella and a big tub of water and a swimming pool and my friends, then it's like, wait, that's not really the desert anymore. It's Palm Springs now. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, no, we should be entering into the desert so that the fathers on the podcast that I listen to, Poco, go listen. They also said something about this of like, and it kind of, you touched on this too a little bit, Tracy, of like, we are not just mind and spirit. Like we are also mind, body, and spirit, like mind, body, and soul. We can't, and like God made us to be in full unity with him, which means that our bodies can also be in full unity with him, which means that like we will never, like the biggest gift that we can give the Father is to need him. And so if we don't put our physical selves in a place to need him, then it's like we're essentially telling him like, oh yeah, but my sushi will satisfy me, God. Like I know you could do it, but the sushi will do it for me too. You know, it's like, well, it's not what Lent's about. You know what I mean? So how can we truly put ourselves into a desert mindset, truly put ourselves into a physical place where we need Christ? You know, like not just stopping by for the fish fillet, you know, not just stopping by to what's convenient and satisfying, but like, okay, I'm going to eat the can of tuna. That's really uncomfortable. And yeah. So, yeah. So like so, you know, I'm going to eat the can of tuna, or I'm going to eat the bowl of beans, you know, because Lord, I'm going to invite you to really come into my body, and I'm going to invite you to satisfy me the way that this bowl of beans might not, you know? So I do think that that's a problem, actually. Yeah.
Do you think fish fries, or did you say that? How do you feel about fish fries?
I think that fish fry is a little bit different only because you're supporting your local parish.
Because I was thinking that too.
Yeah. So it's a little bit different only because you're supporting your parish and you're finding community and stuff. But I think like going out like, oh yeah, it's Friday, we can go. Like I saw this one video of like, what's your favorite fish or Lenten Friday dinner? And it's like, oh, I like this extravagant meal. Like, oh, I like that. And like, wait.
That's not the point, guys.
That's not the point.
The point is not the favorite either.
Yeah, the point is not the favorite. The point is not the enjoyment. It's not the satisfaction. And that's not to say you can't enjoy it, but it's to say like, but what is your point? You know, and everybody's at a different developmental stage in their faith. But what is your point? You know, like, is your point to just satisfy the requirements of being Catholic? Yeah. Or is it to really enter into a fullness of relationship with the Father? You know? So, yeah.
Also thinking, like, I think I heard this thing, but, like, if you can fast, I think fasting is, like, a big thing if you want to try to avoid sin, because if you can say no to something like a physical want or need, then you can say no to other things like sin too. Yeah. And so I was thinking, I was like, that's really true, because one time I tried fasting. Oh, dude. Okay, look, I don't eat a lot, right? Yeah. But when I actually make an effort to not eat, it's hard. Yeah. Even though like I'll get up and I never eat breakfast, but when I made a decision, okay, fast for this period of time, it was hard. Yeah. It's like crazy.
I read this, and I was actually on Reddit. I read this. But before I share the Reddit thing, no, exactly. And I at Seek, shout out to Brendan. At Seek, I really wanted to go to confession. And so Brendan was like, we can find you a priest. But then everyone else was like, wait, but we're about to go into mass, like the opening mass, like all the priests are going to be up front. And Brendan's like, no, don't worry, I'll find you a priest. So I'm like, okay, slay. So we were looking around, making sure all the name tags say father, not brother. And everyone says brother. And then so finally we find a Franciscan, and Brendan's like, oh, it's his father. And I'm like, okay, are you sure? He's like, yeah, just go ask him. And so I didn't have like time to like collect myself. He just kind of pushed me. He was like, okay, go ask. I'm like, okay. So Father turned around in that moment, and I'm like, hi, I'm so sorry to bug you. I know that we're all headed to mass right now, but like, do you mind receiving my confession really, really fast? So he looks at his watch, and he's like, okay, it's okay. Yeah, let's go to the wall over there. So we went to the wall. I give him my sins, and a lot of them were like, you know, lacking in physical discipline. And so he says, well, my penance is to fast all day tomorrow. But like, this was probably one of my favorite confessions. It's just so sweet. And like, I've offered it with my own friends, because it's like, truly, truly, we are universal because we are meant to be together, you know? And so he gives me my penance, and he's like, yeah, exactly what you're saying. He's like, this, you know, if you're having trouble saying no to this physical thing, here's this physical thing that you know, can find strength in through the Father. And it's always a little bit easier when you're doing it with someone else. So even though I might not see you ever again, do you mind if I do your penance with you? And I was like, wow, no, not at all. I don't mind. And so he fasted. Yeah. So he fasted. I hope. Yeah, I'm sure he did. He fasted. Yeah, it's okay. He fasted with me. He shared my penance with me. And it made it that much easier, because even though, and I actually did see him the next day in passing, and I was like, hi, Father Roger. He's like, hey. But he was walking the opposite way, so we didn't get to stop. But the rest of that Wednesday, I'm like thinking, I'm really hungry. And like one of our friends is a chef, and so he was cooking all week. And so it was like, oh, I can't eat. But also it was like remembering that, like, okay, but this is when I'm going to feel the Father fully. And also somebody's doing it with me, you know, like I'm being held accountable here, even though I might not ever see him. So it was like, it was just that much more fruitful. And then on that Reddit that I saw, someone gave advice to approach fasting, and was like, sometimes, like for a lot of us, giving up an entire day of eating is like really hard, just think about doing the next best thing, you know, of like, I'm going to pick up this cookie. You know, Father, I'm actually not going to pick up the cookie. That's considered fasting. I'm fasting from this thing. Then the next hour, it's like, okay, I'm going to get another slice of pizza. You know what, Father? No, like I'm not gonna eat that another slice of pizza. And this like slow building up of like the capacity to fast, like the discipline to fast, that can get you to where you need to be. You know, because Jesus doesn't say if you fast, he says when you fast.
Hey, okay, the brain. We love that.
But yeah, so.
Yeah, it was really nice. I think like it's not just like avoiding sin, but it's also being able to love God. And so I heard this thing where like true love, like the purest form of love is not the one you like feel. It's like what you do despite how you feel. And so like I feel like I don't know, I just like I like it. I love it. It's
beautiful.
Yeah. Like, I feel like if you're looking for like a pure love, like a true love, I think I mean like I really like the idea of like pure love.
Yeah.
So but like I know like a lot of people in our society, it's always like usually like do I feel happy? But it's not about like how can I love this person more but being able to receive that too. And so like when I see stuff like that, like washing dishes even though I don't want to, is crazy.
Yeah.
For real. It's okay. Oh, we're like besties, guys.
We are besties.
I met you guys. I met you twice. I met you once. Met you like twice.
No.
Yeah.
We are. I've said this like 500 times the last like month. We are biological sisters and brothers in Christ because we share the blood of Christ.
Oh, clip that.
Fire, dude. Phone lock screen.
Yeah, that's how.
Sorry, I actually did want to ask a question. I was really curious. Is that your favorite penance, or do you have another favorite penance?
Penance, that one, and one time I gave a penance I gave a confession with Father Locke at Blessed Sacrament, and my penance was to go and watch the documentary on Sister Claire Crockett, and he was like very merciful to me and very kind and affirming. And was like, your penance is going to go watch this because even though she's not titled a saint yet, she's a saint in my heart. And I was like, okay. And then I went and then I learned about one of my favorite people on the whole planet. So yeah, I love Sister Claire Crockett. Yeah, and she's actually, her case just got opened for investigation. Yeah, so hey. So she was a young woman and she was very much living in the secular world and she was aspiring to be an actress. And in that field, that's like in that community, in that environment, there's a lot of drug usage, a lot of like sex and stuff. So she was very much ingrained in that. But then she eventually found herself at a conversion. And so she started to walk with sisters and she eventually became a sister herself. And I think it was in Ecuador in 2014. I might be wrong. But in Ecuador, she was living in a house with other sisters and other young women who were discerning religious life, and an earthquake hit. And in her attempt to evacuate all the women, the building fell on her and she died. But yeah, so she's a wonderful woman, wonderful person, like her quote, like her saint quote is all or nothing. So like I'm either going to give everything to Christ or nothing to Christ.
That's metal.
It's so metal. It's so hardcore. Yeah.
Doesn't it remind you of the verse where it's like, if you're neither like, if you're like not hot or if you're lukewarm or cold, I will spit you out. It's all or nothing. Sorry, I don't know if I got that right.
Oh, it's like I wish you were hot or cold, but you're lukewarm or something like that.
I don't know. I don't know.
Guys, wait.
We need a human Bible guy.
Sorry.
I know this is why we need a Jonathan in the back.
I don't have a citation. I'm not a citator.
The Bible's too far. It's all the way over there.
Yeah, the St. Ignatius Study Bible with footnotes by Dr. Scott Hahn and I don't know who else. And Father something.
Scott Hahn.
I know your deeds. Okay, wait. I know your deeds, that you are neither cold nor hot. I wish that you were either cold or hot. So because you are lukewarm and neither cold or hot, I will vomit you out of my mouth. Or I think it goes like spit you out of my mouth.
Oh.
Maybe.
No, it's good to bring scripture in here. If you're listening right now, do a Lectio Divina of that right now. I think maybe God might be calling you to do that.
What verse was that?
Shoot. I don't... It says Revelation, but I don't think it's Revelation.
It's okay. We'll look it up and then we'll put it in the description.
On the screen right now.
Yeah. Yes. Good job, David.
All right. Do you think we should replace artists like Lisa from Blackpink, Dua Lipa, or Sabrina Carpenter with someone else more talented like Tracy?
No.
Do you make music?
No.
Oh.
But she sings.
You sing?
You can be judge of that maybe later.
Okay. I sing too.
Also?
I don't know anything. I just know I sing.
And she plays guitar.
You play guitar?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do think that we should replace people like them, but I think that we won't because Jesus says that the enemy has asked for permission to attack you. And so this world is always going to be a world where we have people who are being indignant to the church and to the Father. So even if we replace Dua Lipa and Sabrina Carpenter with other people who are probably more Christian and better, talented, there'll always be more people who are coming up until the end times. So I think there's no point. Yeah, I think we just have to let them be what they are to us, which is temptation, because the music's really good.
Probably pray for them, guys.
And pray for them, facts, and pray for them. Yeah.
And for me too, and all of.
Yes.
For her career.
No.
Yes.
Oh,
To be the next, well, not the next, but to be the first Tracy Nguyen.
whoa, no, not a singer, guys. No.
In pop culture.
Medical
For
field.
medical
to get
field.
into med school, because it's
Speaking of med school, like imagine you're going up the elevator or stairs. Where should guys look if they are in the unfortunate circumstance where they are walking up the stairs behind a woman? Up, down, left, right, close their eyes, go backwards.
pluck your. You know what Jesus said? Pluck your eye. Just kidding.
Yeah, true.
Really?
I think that if just like, because this is also a gym problem, where like sometimes a girl's in front of you and like, but this is all truthfully, this is a human person problem. Like sometimes your eyes wander and you accidentally make eye contact, and like I think in the case of a staircase, in the case of stairs, I would probably like watch your feet. Just
watch your feet.
Just watch your feet taking the steps, making sure you're taking every step. That's my answer.
Is this like an escalator or like a stairs?
An escalator, staircase. I feel like it all applies.
Because
feet.
if it's an escalator, guys, you can just stand there and like be like, "Hey, Steffany, what's up?" Oh, it's Jesus.
Oh.
Look down and be like,
It's Jesus. Oh, it's literally Jesus.
No.
Backwards. You were the stalker. Now he's the stalker.
Yay! I would die for him to be my stalker. He is our stalker. He knows everything about us. And sometimes we're the ones who are like, no, I don't want to be your friend. But he's like, let me in, please.
Let me in.
Yeah, he just loves us. But yeah, interesting question, David.
No, I've been wondering that my whole
I
life.
was going to say, is this coming from personal experience?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's what the people want to know.
Got it.
Can you explain why a plastic bag makes so much noise? Not a Ziploc bag, but like
a
you know,
grocery
you pay
bag?
10-cent bags.
Yeah. I think because of the molecules of the plastic hitting against each other, and there's so much air inside it at the same time. So it's almost like a space for the vibrations to go out into the air, and then you hear them. My physics teacher is going to be like, what is she saying? Sorry.
She's going to be so proud.
No, she's probably going to be like, why am I listening to this? That's okay. I don't know. We can Google it later, David. Good question, though. Go ahead.
Don't end it. I have a question.
Your turn. This is your turn.
Yeah.
This is your podcast.
This is your podcast. This is your world. We're just living in it.
I have this thing where like I will think of a question and then I forget the question.
Is that this thing?
Dang.
Okay.
No, don't end it. You can clip it.
No, you can like write it down next time.
No, because like I go with vibe. Because like what we do is like I'll like I'll share you my secret. Not really a secret. It's my ADHD stuff. But like I'll listen to what you say and I'll just wonder like, oh, what about this part in your sentence or something like that. Yeah. But it's not even like something I do like logically. It's just I realize that's how I act.
That's how a conversation works.
Yeah, we'll go on a tangent.
Yeah. I'm a lot like that.
Yeah. Have you heard of scruples?
Yes.
Do you know what they are? Or like OCD or something? Okay, sorry. Have you met someone with
me?
Oh!
I am scrupulous. It's just somebody who's constantly like analyzing their state of grace, constantly doubting their state of grace.
The doubting disease.
The doubting disease, yeah. It's a lot of lack of trust in yourself and lack of trust in the Father sometimes. Mm-hmm. I know people who like, I go to confession at least twice a week. I don't, but I know people who say that. And it's like, it's such a gift to find such comfort in the sacrament of confession. But when it's not giving you comfort, but rather it's making you like fearful of like, oh my gosh, like you're not a glass vase, you know, like you're not something that just needs to be put into a cupboard and not touched. Like you live in the world and you're called to be in the world, not of it, but in it, you know? And it's like, you just have to trust that the Father's mercy will transcend in your everyday actions and words. Yeah. My biggest advice to people who are scrupulous, because this helped me, is go to daily mass. Like when you truly realize how merciful the Father is in the Eucharist, it inspires you to just be better for the next morning. And like, okay, I'm really not going to say anything because I can't get confession today. But also too, it's like the more you encounter him, the more you realize how at peace you are, because his mercy is transcending in the Eucharist. So it's like, my greatest advice, go to daily mass. Even if you can't receive yet, go to daily mass.
And don't like take it too far where like you miss one day and you're like, oh no, I missed it one day because like, you're scrupulous. But
I find that like in the miracle of the Eucharist, over time it starts like that sometimes, but as the time goes by, you can find yourself in like, actually like, yeah, the Lord's mercy is enough to last me to miss a day. Like, thank you, Jesus. You know, so then you start to have mercy on yourself because the Father has had mercy for you first. So yeah, go to daily mass.
Have you talked about this like with your priest or like confessed it? Sorry, is that personal?
No, it's okay. Yeah, I have. And there's been times when I talk to the right priest about it and times when I talk to the wrong priest about it. And they're human too, so pray for our priests, pray for our clergy. But I think it all falls on the Father and you. Like, it really just, do you trust in the Father? You know? And that's the question. And then how do we go about that? You know, how do we go about fixing that relationship? And that's where that starts. Yeah.
Okay. Do you scruples too?
Nah, not really.
Must be
I'm
nice.
like borderline.
Oh, maybe you should stay on the other side.
Yeah.
Do you struggle with scrupulosity?
Huh?
Do you struggle with scrupulosity?
Yeah, that's why I ask. Hi, Kiki. I think I've had it for a long time.
Yeah.
I think like, maybe like since I was 9. Have you guys seen the Whatever podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, is that what Destiny's on it all the time?
I think there's a debate with Destiny and Lila Rose at UCI. Oh, crazy. I saw that. I was like, that's in my county. Then I learned Lila Rose is in California.
Yeah.
She's in California.
Yeah, she's in California.
And also, was it Iron Inquisitor? Do you guys know who he is?
I think so. I know that at
Sacramento, I think. IDK. And I think Franco TV actually moved from Arizona to like...
California.
He's San Juan Capistrano.
No way.
I told you guys, I was
Doesn't he work for Lila Rose?
Huh?
He works for Lila Rose. That's why he moved.
He does?
And I think he put an announcement of that or something. Like, he put that in a caption.
I don't remember. Sorry.
That's good. We're getting imports of Catholics.
Oh, Alex, Voice of Reason in California? George Janko, California.
No, I think he lives in Las Vegas.
Oh, just kidding.
No, he's moving. That's what Kenny said.
Oh, really?
And Kenny knows, like,
Kenny knows everything.
He's connected. He's in there.
Kenny knows everything.
Thank you, Steffany, for being present here today and in the youth community. Thank you for Tracy for helping on this. And thank you to all the listeners. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to like and subscribe, or else you will end up in a seminary.
Which is not that bad.